Oh, hi everyone. Welcome to another episode of Back and Forth. I guess the name is stuck
It's
because
sticking. It's
it's
sticking.
sticking. Yeah. So if anyone has a different suggestion for these talks, let us know. But otherwise, my name is Chris. I'm a software consultant at Saturday Morning Productions. You can find my information and Birm's below, and Birm.
I'm Birm. I am a full stack developer. My favorite tools are React and Firebase, and this is the reason we're doing this project because I know how to work with Firebase and React, and Chris works with virtual machines in Docker. We're putting those together and teaching each other parts we don't know. So we're learning just as much as you if you're interested in learning it. So yeah.
Yeah. And if anyone ever has any questions or has a topic they'd like us to discuss or a question to answer, let us know. Because we're going to do a couple of these videos about setting up this React app. But after that, who knows? Birm and I are very actually selfish. We just keep picking topics that interest us. So if you have a topic, let us know. We would love to try and answer your questions or maybe have you on one of these videos or something like that. So, all right, but we should jump right into it here. So last time we left off, I'm going to share my screen. Oop. All right, you can see that okay, Birm?
Yep, I'm good.
All right, because last time we left off, we had this application running. If anyone didn't watch the previous video, you can go watch it. This is where we set up a Docker container for a brand new React app. So, and we got it up and running last time. So we can, do you remember how to run?
I actually forgot. I forgot. Docker Compose.
Yeah, so we're using Docker Compose. I'm assuming eventually we'll have a database or something, or maybe that'll all be in Firebase, but Docker Compose lets you run many Docker containers and kind of link them all together. So if you remember last time, all we have is the app. So we have the one container that we run. It's based off the Docker file that it finds in the same folder as the Docker Compose. And so this is our Docker file, which is a node. It's based off the node Docker image. We had to set up a user so that it would run properly, just because this node container doesn't want you to run as root, which is probably a good thing. It wants you to run your commands as node. And then we also set up a directory where our application lives. That's all we're doing right now. I'm sure we're going to add more to this file later, but this is the basic file for now. And then here, do you remember the volumes, Birm? Oh, you're muted, Birm.
Whoops! Yeah, my fan was going crazy, so I just muted myself. The directory where the application lives.
Yeah. So this volumes maps. So everything, if you remember everything before the colon, this is on the host machine, right? So this maps, and the dot just means the current directory. It maps your current directory to home/node/app inside the Docker container. So that's what this volumes does. When we actually, if we ever get around to pushing this Docker container to production, I'm not sure how Firebase works. Maybe we won't. We probably won't use Docker Compose, but what we'll have inside the Docker file itself is we'll actually copy the source code inside the container so that it lives in there. So your container is like you try to treat it as an immutable object. Like this is my whole application, including all the source code. But we're in development because the source code lives in our host machine and it's changing all the time. We don't want to have to keep copying it inside the Docker container. That's why we do this mapping here. So right now, all we have is Docker set up for development. And then this ports is mapping our container ports to our host. So we're mapping, by default, node applications apparently use port 3000. So we're mapping our Docker container port to port 3000 on our host machine. So we can just go localhost port 3000, and instead of, and it'll go inside it'll go look for our Docker container there. So, and this is like, by default, the Docker containers, all the ports are closed. So this is the only, well, there's a couple of ways to open them, but you have to open those ports. So. Yeah, and then down here, we're just running Docker Compose. So up means start the application. And when up is run, it's going to run this command it's going to start our Docker container, and then it's going to run this command, which in our case is yarn start, because apparently that's how you start a node project. And the name, sorry?
A React application with yarn. Well, there's npm as well. You can do npm start, but we have yarn installed in the project, so
yeah,
yarn start for this case.
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, and I work with Ruby, and now that, sorry, Ruby on Rails, and now that they're starting to incorporate more and more like Webpack and stuff, I've been using Yarn a bit in there, which, yeah, as far as I can understand, it's just a layer that sits on top of NPM just to make your life a little easier. But you can do everything with NPM, but Yarn is just, as far as I can tell, it just sits on top and abstracts some of those commands. Oh, is it?
It's a lot faster than npm as well. I've heard.
Oh,
I've seen it as well, but I prefer npm because that's what I've always used.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know.
Yarn is faster.
I haven't used npm very much, and I know a little bit about Yarn. So, yeah, and then so we're gonna run Docker Compose. Up is just saying basically bring the container up. Bring that image up, and the service we run on is app. If you leave this blank, it'll bring up every container inside your Docker Compose. So we could do that as well, but I just like to get in the habit of saying which container I want to be brought up. Oh, what did I do? Did I spell that wrong? Oh, I'm already, we're cheating. I'm inside the Docker container already. So now I'm back to my outside of the Docker container. Yeah, okay, we were actually running inside the container, just testing stuff here before we started recording. So right there's the yarn. So you can see the yarn run. It's apparently it's running this React script start. So all the stuff, this is what happened last video. And then if we go Chrome, and we go localhost 3000, there's our React app. All right, so that's all.
Perfect.
Yeah. Okay, so we can stop that. And I noticed I didn't check in last time. I didn't commit the changes we made last time. So, like we created the initial to-do app, and then we had to make some changes to the Docker compose file to get it to run. We had to add the command that supports. Yeah. So I'm gonna remember to commit that. I don't know what should I call this here. Added.
Does it should technically, but I was about to ask. If you're committing from a command line, it still shows up on there, right? Since it is Git, it probably should.
Yeah, we can next time I go to commit something, remind me, and instead of using git kraken, we can use the command line, and yeah, it should show up there as well. So like all the git commands will work here. Yeah, so I'm on branch master, nothing to commit, working tree clean, right? If I made a change here, it should show that one that's been modified. So it shows it in the command line here that has been modified because I added some empty lines here. And if we go look at git kraken, it also shows it here. So git kraken is just like a user interface that sits over top of the git command line, because I can never remember all the git commands. And sometimes I like command line, but a lot of times I'm a big fan of GUIs myself. It has a nice diff. It has a nice, well, this is a very simple branching structure here. But when working other projects, like there's a lot of branches, there's like I'll show all my branches here, I can link it to GitHub. Don't use GitLab very often, but use GitHub so I can see other people's pull requests and everything. So it just puts everything in one spot, which is nice.
I bet it'll be like really good for branches, just dealing with like headaches of branches. But yeah, the headache, I think in terms of like commits though, I'm like fairly lazy. So So I don't think I would open up the application just to do commits, but yeah, in terms of like managing branches, that'd be cool. Good Kraken. Is that the best one you recommend, or is that just one you've kind of been with for a long time?
Yeah, it's the one I like because it runs on Windows, Mac, and Linux. You have to pay for it. I think they have a free version, but for commercial use, like I pay for it, a yearly subscription, I think. There's several other open source ones. What was one that I used from Bitbucket? I think it was called SourceTree from Bitbucket, but that one didn't run on Linux. It only ran, at least at the time, it only ran on Windows and Mac. And I did a lot of my development on Linux machines. The other thing a lot of people do is I'm not sure about Visual Studio Code. I don't use it very often, but other IDEs will have very powerful Git integrations as well. And they will show you some of the branching structure. They will allow you to switch branches inside the IDE itself. So like even
there's a little GitHub thing right there on the side panel.
Oh yeah, this guy here. Yeah. So this shows you. Oh, it's even got a nice little comparison. Oh, so, okay, so that's the difference.
I use that. I use that most in terms of just to check what has been changed and everything.
Yeah.
You can commit from there as well at the top, like the message section. No, I mean inside the GitHub. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You can use that to commit.
Yeah.
As well.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, okay. Cool. Yeah. So a lot of IDs will have a lot of that integration. So if people don't want to get Kraken, they can do that too.
Visual Studio has like a whole like workflow for basically it has Git Kraken on it. I'm not a fan of it though.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's finding like the editor that you like, right? Like I know some people I work with like just stick in their IDE, they don't leave it. Other people really love the command line, so they do all their Git commands in the command line because that's what they're familiar with. That's what they use. You know, some people I work with, they use GitHubs because most of like if they're working exclusively with GitHub also has a Git client you can download, so they use that one.
I remember.
So yeah, just find one you're happy to work in. So, all right, so that's committed.
Right. Let's get started.
Yeah. Okay.
So what are we doing today?
So I think the next thing after I get a new application, so if we basically have a skeleton of an application here or the scaffold of it, after I get it to run, or maybe sometimes the second thing I'll do is I'll see if there's any automated tests, which most programming languages or frameworks will, when you create a skeleton project like this or scaffold up a project, you will get like a default dummy test. So I'm just curious. I don't work with React or Node, so I'm just curious if this test will run and how to run them. So I think if we looked in the README, it told me, right? Right. Oh yeah, yarn test. There it is. Oh, they got a whole. Well, I keep forgetting that React is a Facebook thing. So. So if we go inside our Docker container, not web app. So this is just going to run this application and it's just going to execute this one command. So unlike up, which brought our container up and executed that command in this case, inside of Docker Compose, this command is just going to run our container, and it's just going to run the bash command so we can get into the shell. Right, so we can see our application in here, right? Because we're in the app folder.
So from here, you can type yarn start and the application would start, right?
I think we tried this last time, but it didn't work because I think when I run Docker Compose run, the port wasn't open. We can type run start and it looks like it ran it, but it didn't. We couldn't connect to that port. So if I try and refresh this, yeah. I think it's because that port isn't open, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure why. What's going on? We'd have to do some investigation into there. But yeah, theoretically, you should be able to run this and it should open that. But I think the port, I don't know if it's ignoring these ports. or what's going on? Yeah, so I don't know. We'd have to do a little bit digging into that. But I want to run the test. Is it test or tests? Test, I think.
Test.
Right. Oh yeah, right. When we ran this before, it had this little, so it just doesn't run all the tests. It gives you this little menu, which is kind of interesting. I think, well, just try A. Right. Okay, cool. So like the test pass, because there's only the one app test.js. Yeah, this guy here. And from my limited knowledge of reading JavaScript and React code, it looks like all this thing does is it tries to render the app. What is this, a component? Right? Oops.
Yeah.
So let's maybe open these up in two separate windows so we can see them. Okay. Can you see that okay, Birm?
Yep.
All right. So it's trying to render this app component, which is this guy, this whole function, I guess. Function.
Yes. So where that's being rendered is actually inside the index.js. There is a render function in there.
Oh, okay. Okay. Right here, right?
Yeah.
Render. Yeah. Oh, okay, cool. So this is the index. Yeah, this is when we go to that main page. It's going to just find this one component. I have no idea what strict mode is, but it's going to find this one component, render it. And then
so like, yeah, with React, it's just a hierarchical thing. It's like just DOM nodes. Index, usually the way it's set up, it only has one component inside it. And then inside app.js is where you create your component, where you just put a bunch of components within app.js, and then you only render app within index. But like app.js has all the components from, we're going to create a bunch of components afterwards, like when we create our to-do list app. So you'll see them, but until then, yeah, it's just rendering them.
Like you would have like a header component, a footer component.
Yeah, and like a to-do list component,
right.
What do you call it? A mapping component. Really, you can go all out crazy with as many components as you like.
Cool.
And yeah. But yeah, a function is just something like a component is just like a functional component, at least. It's just something that returns a bit of JSX, which is that little stuff you see inside there that looks like HTML.
Oh, this is actually JSX because this is a JS file. Okay. Yeah. This is technically JSX.
Yeah. Because like you see, the difference really mainly is like it's basically just HTML, but like you see class name, how it's not just class.
Oh yeah,
that's a JSX attribute. That's how you can usually tell.
Oh, okay, yeah. And this REL thing here too, because these two, href and target. Oh, I guess these are all JSX attributes, but these ones are ones you'll see in normal HTML.
Yeah. It's a mix. It's like JavaScript XML. That's what it stands for. Yeah. So it's you can put in a lot of the HTML tags in there as well. The only real difference is like you can write all your projects in just HTML code with JSX HTML, but like the convenient part is when you're importing another component, like in the index.js part. If you look at index.js right now,
yep.
You can import the components as just app right there, as you can see it inside the render function. That's basically rendering it there, or calling a function, or the return of it at least. But yeah, that's a little bit of React. We will get more into this when we build a to-do list. Yeah, that's quick introduction to JSX, which is one of my favorite parts about React as well.
Cool. Okay, so the test run. That's good. To only run failed tests. If I hit F, oh, there's nothing to run because they all pass. Oh, that's interesting. I could change files. So if I oh, what happened? No failed test found. I hit O. All tests. Oh, do I have autosave enabled? I do. Yeah. Oh, they all still pass. Okay. Anyway, I was just mucking around there to see if it would find all the save changes, but I don't think it did. Didn't look like it did. No test found related to files changed / commit. There's a. But I did change this file. Interesting. Cool. I don't know. I'll have to dig into that a little more. See what this little application. I wonder if there's a way to run it. There probably must be a way to run it too, where you don't have to get this menu all the time. I'll have to dig into that myself and figure out the commands for the yarn test. That's cool. Okay, so all the tests run. So that's good news. We can quit out of this. And I think that's pretty much mostly what I do when I set up a new project, or even I work with a lot of legacy code now. When I get a new project, I'll set up a Docker image for that project. I'll get it to run on my machine, and then I'll get the test to run. And with this, an old legacy code base, that can take a while. That can take a couple of days, but those are usually the steps I take. So. Yeah, it can. Yeah, because you're trying to figure out which components it's missing, which third-party libraries aren't installed. Is there a bug in the code possibly, or something like that? So yeah, it can take a while. Okay, so this is all done. It's all working. So next thing we wanted to do was
Firebase hosting.
Right. Yes, let's go to Firebase. So I'll bring. Okay, so make that a little bigger. All right, so this is the Firebase website. I don't have any, I have to set up a project inside of Firebase, and then we can look at getting it, just this real basic app, just hosted by Firebase, right?
Yes, yes. Just the, what do you call it? The static page as well. We can't have a backend. The Firebase is going to be the backend as well.
Oh,
Firebase hosting is only static pages.
So will it still allow, because this isn't really a static page, right?
I mean, it will, since like still, it is a bit confusing, not gonna lie, but it will. Like Netlify, for example, allows React apps. GitHub allows React apps, right? And they're all static pages, static page hosters.
So I guess I should ask, what do you mean by static page hosting?
My definition of it would be like you can't put up a PHP application on it.
Oh, okay, but JavaScript is okay.
Yeah, just the front end. Yeah, the front end of an application.
Just the front end. So there's no database. There's no.
I mean, you can use API you can call stuff from the application from the host page. You can use an API to call stuff, but you can't actually host the API on there or the backend for the API on there.
Okay, so yeah, so it sounds like it's just JavaScript and HTML, and that's it. There's no backend service. I don't know. Let's see. Okay.
You can do serverless what do you call it? You can host APIs, but I haven't done much serverless work or like cloud functions, so I don't know how to do it yet. But yeah, so you're creating a new Firebase application, or is it a project? Oh, you're creating a project. Okay.
Is that what I want to do, or?
Yes.
Because I don't have anything here.
Yeah. So you're logged in as the account you want to use, and yeah, yes. Let's get. And you get about I think 50 or 30 free projects on Firebase.
Okay.
And so you don't have to worry about these problems. Also, you can always delete a project as well if you run out of space, or if you run out of free projects to make. So
Right.
it's by Google, so they can afford to let you have fun.
Looking forward to that fun.
Of course,
Yeah,
it'll collect all your analytics.
yeah, they want to get you hooked in, and I'm sure they'd love this data.
Yeah.
So I think we talked about this before. We're just going to disable this for now, and if we need to turn it on, we can. So, okay, so let's do that. It's creating my project. I think, oh yeah, I think we had a video where we talked about this, at least for this guy in this beanbag, and it's like,
Yeah.
that would just destroy my back nowadays, loafing around like that. And that, like, I don't understand how people can program on a tiny laptop screen. I guess they're young and they have good eyes. Like only one screen and it's super tiny. I need
I think it's
many monitors.
I think it's just that they haven't gone to the mini monitors yet, so they don't know. It's like you don't know what you're missing out on. It's like once you go to multiple monitors, going back to one is just impossible. So yeah, this is the React. Well, this is the Firebase application console, and you can see on the side. Can you zoom in a bit? Yep. So you can see on the side authentication, Firebase Firestore database, and real-time database. Usually, it's most recommended to just use Firestore database as opposed to real-time, because Firestore, unless you have a very specific use case, Firestore does has more functionality. There's Firebase storage as well, which is holds your images and videos for you. You can just host them on there.
This is like like an S3 file storage, like an AWS S3. I'm assuming it looks a lot like it.
I don't have experience with AWS's S3, so
you basically can create like files, like folders, and just upload like any files you want, basically, right? That's what this is. Yeah. Okay.
And you can get links to them so that you can upload, that you can render on the front end. That's there's hosting. That's what we're doing today.
Oh yeah, this whole mobile app thing. I was curious about that too. Okay.
And then functions, cloud functions are where you would do a lot of serverless work. So
right.
I don't have too much experience with this.
Oh, okay, I'm going to have to pay more for that. And then of course, machine learning, which I don't think we need any of that, at least not right now.
Never know.
Cool. All right, so we want to get our basic website hosted here.
But first, let's create a project.
So
let's create an app.
So we have an app though, right? Sorry, I don't understand what you mean.
No, we just have a project. We haven't.
Oh, okay. So we need to create an app in Firebase here.
We have the project, so we're gonna create the app inside the project. Like right now, go up on, just click the Firebase at the top, and go to do. Oh, website went too far back. And then now, yeah. So this is where we get started with the project, creating the app. On here, like what it says, get started creating your app. So we need to pick web application. Yep. Okay. And that's where we set up the app.
Oh, okay. So we have a to-do project.
Inside the project, we have this app. Yeah. So to-do app, I guess.
App. Okay. Because they said this isn't. Okay, it's not visible. Hosting. Oh, I guess just.
We can set up hosting afterwards, or we can just ask for it now.
Is there any reason why we would not want to ask for it now? Or is it better if we set it up later?
Either way, I mean, you can do it now or later. Let's just do it later, just so you can see both.
Sure. Okay. So register this app to do app. All right.
And then continue to console. So these are the Firebase configs. I don't know if they will be blurred out or if we're just gonna delete the application right after this. Like you can very easily just delete them. They're not too big a deal.
But these are going to go in my website. So like these are going to be available on all the people's pages. So like every page we render, right?
There is something like there is a way to hide it. Process.env. And we'll add it when we get there. But for now, yeah, it's not really that too big a deal. You can also configure your application to only accept it from your website, to only accept requests from your website specifically. So yeah, those are basically the Firebase configs. We won't be needing them for hosting. Those are mainly for authentication, hosting, database. Okay. So yeah, for hosting, we won't need them.
Okay, so I don't need to cut and paste this stuff, so I can just skip it for now. I'm assuming I can get this stuff.
You can always get it back another time as well. Like you can find it in your application later.
Okay, continue to console. All right.
So the way you would set up hosting is just by going to hosting on the side.
All right, check.
And just getting started. This is the second way of doing it.
Yeah, I have to say this interface is much better than like AWS or the little bit of Azure I've worked in. It's pretty rough.
Yeah.
Install the Firebase command line. Sorry, go ahead.
This is, yeah, it just kind of gives you a step-by-step here. It's really nice. It's super nice. Just install Firebase globally, log into Firebase, pick the project, and bam, your app is hosted.
Okay, so this I need to, okay, I'm gonna move this out of the way over to here. Let's see it. Now, this we need to do inside our Docker container. So what I'm thinking we should probably do, well, I guess we could, let's just try manually installing it just to make sure it works. And then what I'll do is I'll set it up inside the actual Docker file, the Docker file itself, so that it installs those tools every time for me. So I'm just going to try manually install it just to make sure it works. -G, Firebase
tools. Yep.
An S, yes. Okay. All right, that's looking good.
What do you mean automatically downloads? Because like I thought that was the job of package.json with npm. Like that's.
Oh, we're getting a bunch of errors here.
Can you not download Firebase globally? Install Firebase globally?
Access the files the current user. I'm as node. User local. Oh, it's trying to install it as a global module. So I might have to run this as. I don't think Dockerfile has a. Yeah. Let's see what the permissions are for user local lib. It's trying to create that directory. Okay. For the lib. All right, this is all root. Okay, so if we want to, oh, that's interesting. Okay, because we had this permission problem before, but that's because we were in our home folder. And our home folder is all node. Yeah, okay, it's all the node permissions. The Firebase tools are being installed globally. Do we want them to be installed globally? What if we, I don't think we need them installed globally. I'm assuming. What do you think, Birm?
I have only ever installed it globally, so I have no clue. So let's try it. Let's try just not.
So this, if I don't use the -G, I'm assuming that means global. This should
yeah,
install
the -G is the global, yeah.
Because we really, this Docker container really only has one user.
Yeah, I mean,
Otherwise, I'd have
and
to
also
log in
like
as root.
the global downloading globally is just to stop yourself, like just to prevent having to do it every single time as well.
Yeah.
For every single project. So like there would be no reason why you shouldn't be able to.
Right. Yeah. Because if I was on my host machine, I'd want it. Yeah, I would want to download it for every project. Oh, okay, cool. New minor version of npm is available. Oh, that's fine. Okay.
Okay. I think you're set to set up the project.
Oh, it's interesting. They have
Oh yeah, it's really bad. I'm always like panicking about like how bad the state of these modules are, but it's the state of life. We can't do anything about it because it's just the dependencies are insane. Like the tiniest little package like is dependent on like 1,000 more.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And it's just spreads exponentially. So yeah, no stress.
No stress. Okay, so this is done. Check next. Open a terminal window, navigate or create a root directory for your web app.
You have to log in from your command line to your Firebase.
Ooh, okay. So for that, how does that work? Do I need my Google account that I use to create this website with?
Yes. So when you type Firebase login from your command line, it will open up a window in your browser. Like, you know how when you say sign in with Google, sign in with Facebook, that sort of thing, sign in with Google, basically that's what will show up. And just make sure it's the same account as you used to create that project.
Oh, Firebase command not found. Maybe that's why it has to be global.
That's a Firebase command, so I'm pretty sure the Firebase is not installed. That's a problem.
Maybe it does. Maybe okay, because it couldn't find it because it's not global, I guess.
I mean, it should be within this project. Weird.
Yeah, you think like if I go look at inside the node modules, but maybe I'm not sure how npm works. Maybe it doesn't look inside your local node modules. No. Grab file.
So it's if you look into package.json.
Here. Yep.
Yeah. You should see Firebase tools. Yeah, there it is. So yeah, it's in your project. I guess it just really wants it to be global. I think try it again. Maybe it was something was spelled wrong. Firebase login.
No, I can't find the Firebase command. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's try and install it globally. Okay. So if we we'll exit out of this. So this is a nice thing about Docker containers, right? I can just blow this away and not really care. So I'll just bring everything down. And then, okay. So let's try logging in as root, and then we'll run this command. So instead of logging in as this node user, we'll log in as root. Or maybe we should just set it up here. Let's just do that. So what was the command? So npm. I'll make it
install. Yeah, Firebase tools.
Okay, because we're running this command before we set the user. This should run it as root. So let's try that. So let's try building this. All right, so it's running that npm command right there, you can see.
So what if I already have Firebase tools installed though? Wouldn't that kind of...
But that's on your host machine, not inside the Docker container, right? This is installing
the
Firebase
so that's
tools.
Installing inside the Docker container. Okay,
yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay.
Because I don't have, I probably do have some sort of version of npm installed on my host machine, but it's not the same. It's probably, I don't know, it's not 16, but every time we're executing these node commands or yarn commands, they're inside our Docker container. Okay, well, that looks
So
like it works.
say like right now I have Firebase tools installed globally on my machine. If I were to start a Docker container, will it recognize that I have Firebase installed on my machine, or will it just pretend like it's completely clean, it's starting from zero, it doesn't have anything?
Yeah, because the container is totally isolated, right? So the only thing it inherits from your host machine is basically these volumes that you share. So you can actually share out some of your NPM volumes, which we might do later, or your node modules. But for now, they all just live in here. So let's see if this works. Firebase. Oh yeah, okay. Now I can find it because it's installed. Oops, I just want negative V. Oh, there's no version.
--V. I can never remember which version. Like, is it --V or V or?
Oh, capital V. Yeah. I just wish every command was like just lowercase v should be your version. Okay.
I just there's like 4 different versions you can do, like -V, -V, --V, and yeah. So I just type like one of those 4 until I get it. I can never remember, so I just do that every time.
Just make sure all my packages are still good. Yeah, we're gonna have to set up a volume for my node modules here, so I don't have to do this every time. Because when I bring the container down, I lose all the node modules that were set up. So I'll just make sure this is all good. All right, so once that's done, I'll try that Firebase. We'll let that thing, run. So this browser here.
Firebase Login?
Yeah, we'll try Firebase Login. So this browser here is actually not inside my virtual machine. I know we're running Docker inside a virtual machine. It's very meta. This is on my host Windows machine. So it already knows that I'm logged in as my Saturday MP account. Okay.
So that's going to be a bit confusing. I'm not sure how it's going to do it.
Well, you said it would open another. So this is the browser inside of Linux. Here you can tell by the black background.
Then that will work.
Yeah. So let's see what this
I'll
does.
open inside there.
Okay, Firebase. Of course you do, because you're a Google thing. You collect everything. Allow Firebase to collect. Okay. Visit this URL on this device to log in. Oh, okay. Copy this. So maybe I'll just do this part off screen, I think.
It'll just be like one of those sign in with Google, so you're not really missing much either.
Yeah, okay. I guess I could show this first part because I'm just signing in with my email here.
Oh yeah, I mean, if you're showing that, then that's basically it. That's not really much after.
That's just asking me for my password. Oh, and then I have 2-factor authentication set up, so I need to check on my phone here. Yes, it's me.
Oh, double authentication, fancy.
Yeah, if you don't have it set up, I highly recommend it. So, okay, so we don't need to save that password. So I'm getting this question here. Firebase CLI wants to access your Google account. That's sure.
Your Firebase is Firebase is owned by Google, so it's within your Google account. That's why that's asking that. And yeah, that's basically it.
Site can't be reached. Is that supposed to happen?
I don't think it. We'll see. We'll see. Just the next command is Firebase init. If it is, then yeah, we'll have to see. Oh, still waiting for authentication. Then yeah, then you something went wrong.
We're inside a Docker container, so Oh, this is probably going to be a problem. We're going to probably have to open a port or something for this. So what if we try this again? Will it know that I'm logged in? No, it won't, right? Oh, right. Because it's probably trying to. Oh, 905. Okay, that's what it's trying to do. It's trying to connect to port 905 on my local host. You can see here.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, that's really cool. I did not know that. 905 to 905 then.
So 9,005, 9,005. And this is for Firebase. Okay, so I'll have to exit this. Let's rebuild it. Run it.
Login. And let's go.
Let's try this again. So I'm already logged in, so it shouldn't prompt me to log in again. Oh yeah, it's just prompting like what account I want to use. In this case, I'll use my Saturday and P1. I'll allow it again. Oh, it's still, oh, right. We had this problem before. Okay, when we tried to run the app. If I go look Docker ports, I don't think it's opening ports. Maybe I need to open up. All right, yeah. So I think what I'm missing. Run command with the service ports enabled and map. Yeah, okay. So by default, I don't think Docker Compose run is opening the ports. So I think I need to run it with this command to open those ports. So let's do that. So if we go back here, cancel you. Docker Compose run. I need my options. I need after the run here. So let's go here. This is service ports. I think that should work. So let's try this. Actually, do you know what we can test too? If we do that yarn start, we should now be able to see that.
No way.
I think so. Let's see. Oh yeah, there we go. Okay. So,
oh my God.
So when you execute, so I learned something today, or at least I learned something that I forgot. So when you do a Docker Compose run, it doesn't enable any ports by default. It must be a security issue. So if you put this -- service ports, it's going to open any ports that you have in here. So now we should be able to connect with our Firebase CLI. Right. So if we do Firebase Login, no. Okay, let's copy this. Okay, so I'm going to bring this back here because it's going to work. It's going to look great on the video stream. It's totally not
You're
going
to
to
look really smart.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Woohoo! Hey, look, it even says woohoo. Okay. That's awesome. You were logged into Firebase command line. Okay. You can immediately close this window and continue using CLI. Okay. So that's good. And okay. So I authenticated. Okay. Great.
That's funny.
Now we can go back.
Yeah, I'm so confident right now that I will show it, right?
Yeah, this won't burn me later. Now we do Firebase init, I guess.
Yep. Yeah, so that's for hosting. You can also do a bunch of other things, but we're just going to be using for hosting. And we'll just, it's like an option type system. You will pick the ones you want to add. In this case, we just want to add Firebase hosting. So you pick it by using the space. Go down and then.
This one here. Oh, you can even set get up actions. Okay, we'll have to do that later, I think. This one?
One second. I have not seen multiple for hosting before. Just a second. Let me configure files.
Oh,
Hold
there's
on,
more
hold on.
hosting up. Oh, it's a loop. I was gonna say there's more
Oh.
hosting up here.
Oh yeah, the top one and the top one and first one, I guess.
Yeah, because we don't have we're
Let's
not
see.
hooked into GitHub yet. So it's something we'll maybe try later. Okay, so we'll do this guy.
Oh, right. Okay, yeah, I see what it was. Yeah, definitely the first one.
Okay.
And then enter. And then now it's asking you to choose the project you wanted to pick. So it's our project. We already created our project. So let's hook up to that. It's an existing project.
Okay. Done. We only
And
got the one.
Yep.
Okay, done. Your public
And,
directory is in the folder.
Public direct. No, it is not. I remember this part. Okay, so this is asking, do you want to use your public directory? Okay, I think I might have forgotten. It's not. I think it's called a dist directory, D-I-S-T, because what we want to upload is not the public directory. So we want to upload what is built. Like we want to run npm run build on the project, and then only host the build. So I think it's called dist. I'm not sure how Yarn does it, but like dist. It's not there yet because we haven't built it. We haven't built the project. So
dist like this. I'm sure there's a way to change it if it's wrong, right? So
yeah, exactly. I mean, unless you want to check right now, just build the project and then see if the file's there. Let's do it that way. Actually, let's just Control C or Command C, and just to get out of it, and then we can just set up the Firebase init again.
Okay.
It's usually npm run build for npm, so I think it'll be yarn run build. Run build,
you think? Actually, let's check the.
Yeah, we can check it as well.
Yes.
Oh, it's just yarn build. Never mind.
Builds the app for production to the build folder.
Oh, it's a build folder as well. Okay, yeah.
Well, we'll see what's inside that build folder.
Good thing we checked.
All right. Oh yeah, creating an optimized production build. Cool. Okay.
So now let's do npm init. It's like a minified version of it, because like React is a very big project.
Okay, but inside the build folder, there's no public.
Oh yeah, no, it's asking for which folder, which directory it is. So build will be the directory.
Well, we're not uploading all this source code. We would just upload the build folder itself, right?
Yeah, that's the minified version. Yeah.
So they put all our stuff right at the root. So that's like our public folder.
It's restructured a bunch of the stuff. So
oh yeah, okay. So we just want our root folder then, because it's right in build. Like we're not gonna upload everything, including build and this public and source. We're just gonna upload whatever's inside the build folder, right? So in that case, we want it right at root, right?
We just call it build because that's the file it wants. That's the minified version that it wants of React. Yeah. So none of the other stuff, because it's public right now, is not. It's only a blank HTML page.
Okay. Well, let's just try this and see what happens. But I think, all right, we want hosting. Right. Okay.
Yep.
Existing project to do.
So yeah, build, but the build folder. Usually, like my other React project had a dist folder, and I put that. But yeah, this would be okay. So React is a single page application framework. So everything would be rerouted to index.html.
So yes. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
No, we'll do that later.
No.
file build.index. What's it going to overwrite it with? Like, I'm super curious.
Oh, it's not gonna, we don't want to overwrite because like our index.html is really, we already have that. So we don't want to overwrite it. If it were to overwrite it, I think it would like set up some Firebase stuff, but yeah, we don't want that. And then I think that should be.
So if we would look to see it get cracking here, what changed? Okay, for starters, we can ignore this build folder, right? So I'm going to add that to my git ignore.
Firebase deploy.
Ignore. Surprised it didn't ignore the build folder. Build release. Huh. Interesting.
Huh, it must be a yarn thing then.
Okay, I'm assuming we ignore this. We don't check this into source control. That's my guess. All right, so now we're ignoring this.
Quickly check my my other projects to see what the, because I thought for sure it would be a build folder.
Ignore.
Oh no, never mind. It's a build folder. Whoops.
Oh, we still have the Firebase tools installed in package.json. We should move those. Okay. How do I npm? Is it uninstall?
For what?
Oh no, I guess maybe because we have this Firebase tools installed in our local package.json. Is it supposed to be there? Or was that when I screwed it up and did install as a global?
I think
my guess is that we don't need it. That's my guess.
Is it worth the risk though?
Totally. Install. Was it Firebase? Was it uninstall?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's uninstall, but you have installed globally.
Yeah.
In the Docker.
Yeah. Okay, so now it should be gone.
I mean, we can just test it out right now, actually. So,
there's Firebase tools. Oops, Firebase tools. All right, now is it gone? Yeah, okay, now it's gone. Cool. That's what I wanted to see. Okay, so these are the files it added. It added this Firebase service, I guess. I updated git ignore. This is an update I did. So this is a Firebase JSON. This is new. The lock file. Package. Oh, the package lock that's always a big mess. Okay. And yarn lock. Okay, we don't need to see that. Those files are always crazy long. So I think the first two things we should do is we'll commit these two. All right, because this is where we added. So we add Firebase. I guess we capitalize that. Firebase tools to done. And then this was what was that called? That what we did? We set up Firebase hosting. If you're talking, you're muted, Birm.
Oh, whoops, sorry. Yeah, we set up Firebase hosting.
Yeah, okay. And they didn't put any passwords or anything in here. That's just the, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming all these files should be committed.
Yep.
Default. They sure look like they should be committed. So, okay. Let Firebase hosting. Okay, commit. All right, it's in there. Now, what do I do next?
The one command, Firebase Deploy, should be the next command that shows up.
When you're ready to deploy your web app, put your static files in your app's deploy directory. The default is public. Then run this command.
Yeah. So if it's a static, if it's a HTML CSS page, it would just be Firebase. It would be just, that's where the public comes from.
Yeah. Right, because this build, if we look at this build, it created basically because I was curious how that worked, but it created a static page and then put all our, that's interesting. Main maybe. I don't know what files is. Oh, these look pretty big. what is the index one link to here? Sorry, I'm all over the place now.
Oh, so yeah, these are minified. I have no clue how. It's basically magic there, but yeah.
Yeah, okay, this is that app. Yeah, okay, this is that app React thing minimized. Okay, yeah, now it just looks like kind of classic JavaScript rather than
yeah, so it's like Webpack does that. Webpack and Babel as well. They work together to making it into one makes it into like ES5. It allows you to write like the latest JavaScript, but then it changes it to ES5 for any browser to understand. And then the other one is minifies it for production.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool. Okay, so I just should be able to type deploy.
And yep.
I'm just going to
so from here on out, every time you finish like deployment building, you just type npm run build or yarn build, and then Firebase deploy, just 2 commands to deploy.
Right, because I'd have to build it every time. Okay. So Firebase deploy. All right, so that'll look good. I just noticed it did add something to Git crack in here. Oh, okay, so we'll have to ignore this cache because we don't need this. Okay, so I'll add that later. But let's see if my, what's the website? This guy. Okay, let's see if this worked. If I copy that guy, and then, oh, shoot, sorry about that. Try again. Hey, right on, Birm. We did it.
Yeah. I mean, it's awesome. Not pretty. You can, if you have a domain name, I mean the domain name. I mean, the domain name is not pretty. So there's like a way you can add your domain name to it there, but it's like, that's a whole project for another time.
Oh, that's awesome. Cool. Okay. So we got that uploaded. Right on. Okay. But before I forget, I'm going to ignore this cache folder. So /.firebase. Should I just ignore the entire .firebase? What else was in there?
Yeah, you can ignore that Firebase. That's just the when it's built.
Oh, okay. Okay. So that just happened right now. Okay. So I can just ignore .firebase. So let's do that. Otherwise, I'm going to forget. And then the next time we do this, I'm going to end up committing that cache. Ignore Firebase cache. Okay. And it's just .firebase. So if I go back here, I'm just ignoring that. Okay, perfect. Firebase. All right, that's awesome. Cool. I'm very curious too about how it looks like they can automatically set up. So my guess is if you link this to GitHub, and then when you do commits, probably to like master, or I guess main, or whatever other branch you specify, it'll automatically do deploys to production. Is probably they put some webhook or something in there, is what I'm assuming. We have to look at that because that's pretty cool. That was great,
I don't know how that would. I don't know how that would work, since you would need to build the project, and we're not pushing the build project onto GitHub.
Oh yeah, yeah. We'd obviously have to we'd have to start pushing to GitHub, and then yeah, once we push to GitHub, we can have a GitHub action, which is kind of their automated build process. Like you can write a script that every time you do a push or a PR or some other action on GitHub, it will do something. So and it looks like we could set it up to deploy to production automatically, or we could do it without Firebase's help, but it looks like Firebase will help you create that script, is what I'm assuming it will do. When we did those options, you remember those options? It was like set up a GitHub action to deploy automatically.
Yeah.
So my guess is it'll help create that GitHub action script for you to do that deploy.
So I was just thinking it might have been that because like their application, the Firebase is really mainly set up for like just static HTML, CSS, and JavaScript pages, not like React. So I think they might have been looking at that. That was just what I was thinking. Yeah, that's the console page for the host.
I got web.app. I guess I give you two domains, firebase.app.
Yep.
Okay, cool. All right, release history. Oh, okay. So this is how you would set up a staging environment, it looks like.
Oh, wow. That is really cool. See, I'm learning new stuff every day.
Supports, we don't need multiple sites, but yeah, this is how you could, if you want to test something. If you have a database though, we'd have to figure out how you would connect to like your staging database. But that's pretty cool. Okay. Yeah. So
Firebase Hosting also has an emulator. So there's that, but yeah, that's another topic for another time.
Oh, okay, cool. Well, I think that was a pretty successful video.
Yeah.
Oh, well, thanks again.
It had the whole hero's journey arc on it.
The whole who's the hero? Are we both heroes in this case?
I think so. I mean, with that call you made, I think it might have been the one, because like you're like, I'm so confident right now that this is it. I'm gonna pick it, and then I'm gonna show everyone that I'm right.
I don't know. I guess when I've gotten older, I guess I don't care as much about being wrong. Like I don't know, maybe you just get used to it, or it's a skill that you try to develop. Like, hey, I could be wrong. And then you try it, and if you are wrong, you just kind of admit it and then fix it and go on with life. I think that's that's a good lesson for everyone to learn, even outside of software development. If you try something and if you're wrong, then whatever. Just most things aren't fatal. Yeah, it's not like if you're a doctor, maybe just don't willy-nilly try things. But most things in life, like I do renovations in my house. And for most minor things, it's like, well, I don't know, you just try it. If it doesn't work, then, oh, well, let's try it, correct it, and try again. So
fast and break things.
Yeah. Yeah. And obviously you're not going to try it on like a hot water tank. I'm not going to be like, I'm just going to try some willy-nilly thing on my hot water tank. No, but I'm just patching a hole in drywall or trying to, we built a room in the basement, and it has like a slightly angled window. And I was like, I don't know how I'm going to build like a slight angle to the window to let more light in down. So I don't know, just tried it. I cut several wrong pieces of wood that didn't fit. So it took me a while to figure it out, but you just try again, and next day you figure it out.
Yeah. Successful day though. Successful day.
Yeah, so cool.
So today was just Firebase hosting. Next videos are going to be on authentication and database, since like those two can be done both in one go. They're very easy. So next videos are going to be how to set those up.
Oh,
Yeah, I
okay.
learned a lot about Docker today, and um, even Firebase hosting apparently, because there's a lot there. I didn't know.
Yeah. And I'd also love it too, kind of what we talked about before we started recording. If you install Docker on your laptop, you should be able to, and then like we push this to GitHub or something like that, you should be able to download it, just kind of run Docker build, and then Docker with Docker Compose build, and then Docker Compose up, and then the website should just run for you. And then the other thing is all those Firebase tools should all also be installed there too. So I think, well, I will have to check. I'm hoping. Now I'm curious. I'm gonna have to double check that we didn't actually commit anything to the repository that for my Firebase account. I'll have to double check that. But luckily the repository is all just still local. So if I need to get rid of something, I can. I haven't pushed anything to GitHub. So
Yeah, the API keys are not there yet. So yeah, you're fine. You should be good.
yeah, but the login, I wonder if I'll have to log in every time I want to run like it, because I've closed the Docker container, if I'll have to log in again, where it stores that. It must store those like a cache of your password or an authentication token or something somewhere. So
Okay, yeah, sure.
cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sounds good.
Thanks, Birm, and thanks everyone for watching. I don't know if you have anything you'd love us to talk about, let us know. If you have questions or even improvements, like let us know. We're all ears. I don't know, post in the comments below, or you can find Birm and I both on. Oh, we're also both on the Dev Edmonton Slack channel as well. I'll post a link to the Dev Edmonton Slack channel in the comments below, so you can find us on there and ask us questions as well. So yeah, thanks everyone.
And see you every Tuesday.
Oh yeah, right, yeah, every Tuesday, because we host a weekly chat. Birm and I also host a non-recorded weekly chat with other developers, mostly from Edmonton area, but you're also welcome to join us on that. So now Birm, now I have to post all these links in the comments.
I think you can just post it to the Dev Edmonton Slack channel, and then they can find everything from there.
Yeah, okay, cool. Okay, take care everyone.